What's up, guys? Jacoby White here, and I'm back with another video, guys. Sorry, it's been a while, and you're probably wondering, you review every episode of The Flash, Supergirl, Legends, Arrow, but you miss out on the Fortnite crossover, guys. And I'm not apologizing, because I didn't. I watched every episode, all 4 of them. I'm going to be doing Supergirl separate review for that later. Probably been filming these kind of back-to-back. Let me just adjust the camera. Yeah, so I'll be filming those back-to-back. So 2 back-to-back videos right now. I have 3 videos to make, so let's just jump right into it. So, Supergirl, Medusa, that was this Monday's episode. I'm going to be doing that different review, so we're just going to talk briefly about the end, and then we got freaking Invasion with the Flash, Arrow, and Legends, and you know we're going to be talking about that. Yeah, you know that. So, guys, I thought instead of reviewing each episode, because it's kind of like a long movie, let's just review it like a movie. Alright, guys, so let's talk about the CW crossover movie. So, guys, this is awesome! Definitely the best crossover we've ever gotten on the CW. Really did like last year's, and I really did like the first one, like Flash vs. Arrow and the Captain Boomerang. Last year was cool. It was like basically it was a setup to Legends, so it was kind of something we already knew. We knew Vandal Savage wasn't going to die because he was gonna be the villain for Legends. So it was like not really a risk reward. Not gonna probably kill off any main characters. And I thought this year, you know what? Maybe they are gonna get rid of a main character, but I mean, I was still like kind of like 50-50, but yeah, I eventually they did not kill off any main characters, so yeah. So guys, let's just talk about this opens up. So we see on Supergirl that Flash comes to her, grabs her, and that's basically it. So let's just jump into how Supergirl, Flash episode 2 starts. So I did kind of like the way each episode was customized to their own show. Arrow, especially, but we'll talk about it when we get there. But I'm gonna go this thing. We don't want a 25-minute video. But yeah, so I like the. So we basically got crossover plus with the Flash stuff was with Wally, and yeah. So basically the stuff we got with the actually relating to a Flash episode was Wally's basically really developing his powers, especially more in like the past like couple days, because he only has his power for like a week, I think, something like that. I ever said and he's already faster than Barry was after like that long. But that kind of makes sense. He got his powers from Alchemy, and Barry wasn't really like training for a while. Yeah. So, plus, they want to develop Wally's character. So, yeah. So, that would be awesome to see a team up with him and Jesse Quick, because that's definitely going to be a team up later in the year. So, yeah. So, that's basically that. And we got the whole thing where at the end, H.R. Wells is going to train him, and they're basically, one thing with Wally is they're basically opposed to him. He's too young, he's unexperienced, and they don't want a part of the team. And we kind of get another rebelling Wally episode, similar to how 2 episodes go. But, honestly, this was a really good episode. All these 3 episodes are 10 out of freaking 10 masterpieces. I might say that might have been the best Arrow episode we ever got, and it could be the best Legends episode. I do prefer other episodes of Flash, and probably Arrow, but that might have been the best Legends episode we've gotten. So, yeah. So, back onto the Flash. It was really cool the way they introduced all the characters. Barry basically goes to Star City, and he always saves Oliver and Diggle, because this time it was Vigilante, and I know you're going to say, oh, why didn't Barry get Vigilante? Because it kind of ruins the whole plotline, and that would be way too easy. That would make sense why they didn't do that. So, if you guys wondering why Barry didn't get Vigilante, it'd be too convenient, because then Barry could basically just go grab up Prometheus, and why even have Arrow when Barry could just run, and yeah, so basically that's why they didn't do that. So, yeah. So, guys, getting on the other plot, it was kind of really cool the way they introduced it. Diggle, of course, has his moments. That one moment was hilarious when Diggle, because later on we get to see the Legends. Felicity sends some sort of message, kind of like Harry sent the message to H.R. Wells and everything. She sends it into the time, and they get it, and basically that's how they get him to come down. And we get that cool scene where Diggle's like, I don't do drugs because I'm scared. I'm going to see weird stuff. Something like that. It was really funny. Of course, not going to be funny the way I said it, but with Diggle delivered us some line. That was perfect. Just the right amount of comedy and everything. And the one thing I really did like about this episode is it felt the most crossover. Arrow, because it was Arrow episode 100, it kind of felt really Arrow, but that makes sense. In Legends tomorrow, it kind of had that very, open land fight kind of time travel feel. And that's what Legends is. And it felt more crossover, but I really love the crossover aspect in this. So it was really cool getting to see all the Legends, minus, Nate and Maya, because they're the newbies, and they gotta watch the Wave Rider, and we do see them later in the Legends episode, so they're not totally forgotten. So a couple of other plot lines, we got to see Stein and realize he has a daughter, and basically just meets her, so now we know Lily Stein is Stein's daughter. So that's that gets expanded on during the Legends episode. So yeah, I think I'm gonna split this video into 2 parts, so that'll be pretty awesome. I'm gonna probably do Flash, Arrow, and then a Legends, and then what's coming next, basically, with the crossover. So that'll be kind of cool. So, yeah, so, like, back onto the thing. So then we also get the scene we got in Supergirl where Barry and Cisco, English, correct? Yeah, basically go to Supergirl's Earth, which is revealed to be Earth 38, which I thought was a kind of random. I don't think that's any significance to the comics. I thought it'd be kind of cool if they did Earth 52, or even just Earth, or if they said, this is some reason, this is weird. It's like another, like, hub in the multiverse. It's another, like, main Earth, which is similar to how there's this. I thought that would have been really cool, but, yeah. So, that was kind of cool. They basically just go there and they get her, and it was really cool. Oliver's like, I thought you were getting an alien. And then she just goes up in the air, starts flying, and Diggle's like, I'm convinced, which is awesome. But it was also it was one thing I didn't like throughout this whole, like, crossover, besides at the very end of the Legends. Cisco is still angry at Barry, and I thought it was way, way out of proportion the way they did it. I thought it was good the way they did it in the Killer Frost episode. It was, like, kind of like, oh my god, dude, you killed my brother, basically. But now I'm like, alright, can you just put that aside? It kind of almost ruined the whole crossover. Like, for the actual plot. Like, not watching it. It was still great, but kind of ruined almost the plot. So, we eventually get to see the full message from Barry from the future to, Martin Stein, Jax, and Oliver. And it basically says, there's a war coming, which I think has something to do with Legends, with the Reverse Flash. I don't think it had to do with the Dominators, but, yeah. So, it basically goes, there's a war coming. And when you get back to 2016, everything's going to be different because of something I did. Flashpoint. Or at least that's what they want to make us think. It's Flashpoint. I don't know, I'm saying it like that. And you can't trust anybody. Or even Barry himself. So I don't know what that really means. I don't know if Flashpoint's going to be reset at all. I don't think that's possible. That's what Jay Garrick said. And speaking of Jay Garrick, I'm going to be doing a trailer review and reaction to The Flash. Episode 9, because it looks absolutely sick. Alchemy reveal, Jay Garrick, you know. So, yeah, so I think that's going to be kind of what the message means in respect. It's going to be something to do with the Reverse Flash, I think. But, it could be there's infinite possibilities of what that can mean, really. So, I thought that was interesting, the way they did that. And then the whole Cisco gets angry at Barry and reveals to the team, and makes Barry reveal to them what Flashpoint really is. So, everybody learns about Flashpoint. Diggle learns about baby Sarah, which kind of make them upset. But I'm like, you have a son. You know, we're like, yeah, you have a son. Be happy. Yeah, so, also, and there's two things I want to talk about now being the Legends episode, so, yeah, I just thought of that for some reason. I'm like, how's that possible? Oh, maybe it isn't, but, maybe it is possible. I'm not really sure, but back to, like, the review. So it's really cool. We basically get to see the falling apart between the team. Sarah and, like, all the Legends are like, we stopped time aberrations, but you created one. And they get into an argument between that, and eventually they go, alright, we're going after the Dominators, because they realize the Dominators kidnapped the President earlier in the episode. And it's all haywire and pandemonium. So it was also kind of cool early in the episode to see Lila, like, eventually in the beginning when Barry's running and eventually sees the first alien spaceship with the Dominators. That was kind of interesting to see Lila's, like, there working with the President and a couple of other powerful people, I think she said. So it was interesting to see Lila in the episode. Also, yeah, so I thought that was cool. So, but it's really cool. We get to see the Legends, some Flash members, and Supergirl. I mean, some Arrow members, some Flash members, everybody, the drill. All of them go to try to take down the Dominators. A mixed conversation with Supergirl was hilarious. Mick is honestly becoming one of everybody's, I think I like him, but I think he's becoming one of everybody's favorite character from the whole CW-verse. So the Arrowverse, Mick is dominating. But who knows what's going to happen, because we know Snart's coming back later, second half of Season 2. I think maybe even the season finale, I'll have to do a reaction for that, because I saw the trailer. It's absolutely sick. Well, I saw, like, that little promo after the episode, but not the extended trailer, but yeah. So, Mick was great. I'm going to call you Skirt. It's like, okay. And so I thought that was kind of cool. And then the whole point where they basically get mind-controlled by the Dominators, and the fight scene was amazing. So it's basically Barry and Oliver versus everybody else. Barry Oliver versus Thea, Diggle, Sarah, Firestorm, Adam, Supergirl, and I think that might be it. But, oh, and Heatwave. Yeah, so it's basically, like, all of them versus Barry and Arrow. And Barry is very overpowered. Him and Supergirl are way more overpowered than almost all of them there. I mean, in the comic books, Firestorm's really powerful, and so is Adam, because of the shrinking ability. But Barry takes out Adam and Firestorm pretty quick. And, yeah, so Oliver on the ground also takes out Thea, Diggle, and Sarah. I'm not really sure what happened to Mick. I think he just went down. Oliver knocked him out or something. I'm not really even sure what really happened. But, yeah, or Flash, I'm not really sure. But it was really cool to see Oliver take down, basically, Thea, Diggle, and Sarah. I thought it was kind of really cool. He took down, like, all of them. So that was kind of interesting. So it really shows how powerful Oliver actually is, even though he's not a metahuman or a superhero. Like, he doesn't have powers. So really cool. And that scene where Wally comes out and he basically saves them when they're confronted by everybody was awesome. And it kind of really reminds us of Flashpoint, where they're, like, in that. So, guys, I'll be right back. Alright, guys, I'm back. This is not part 2. I just cut. So if you guys thought the video ended there, it did not. So like I was saying, it was really cool to see, like, all the fight scenes, everything. I thought it was awesome the way the choreographed Flash does really cool slow motion shots amazingly. So yeah, it was cool to see Wally come save the day. And just like on Flashpoint, when he's like, yeah, Barry, look, I did it. He gets taken out from behind. This time, obviously, Wally didn't get killed, but he's damaged and he's basically eliminated from the crossover. So yeah. But I thought Wally was cool. That really scene was really cool. He becomes Kid Flash, and I thought that was kind of awesome the way they wrote that. Like, the writers made the whole Kid Flash thing, which is cool. So we know he's not going to try to take over the mantle of the Flash yet. I think there's going to be some side effect from the fact that he got his powers from alchemy. There's got to be something there, because they rushed the whole like, Wally in a cocoon. There's got to be something, some jealousy. Yeah, it might be next episode, because with the whole Barry finding out about HR training him, that's in the description for next episode. The trailer! I'm going way too fast. But yeah. So basically we get to see Supergirl versus Flash. And that was probably the best looking Flash scene in a long time. It was awesome. The way Supergirl was flying around and Barry was like running up the streets and running up buildings. That was awesome, guys. Awesome. So I thought that was pretty cool the way they did that. Also, guys, the one scene where Oliver's running down the Star Labs hallway to get Wally to safety was awesome. Especially that scene where we actually see Oliver run out of arrows. We've never seen that before, so that was cool. It seems like, I like how they make it, because, like, similarly to Hawkeye and MCU, it seems like they just have unlimited arrows, so I really like how they did that. And it was really cool, the fight scene between Sarah and Oliver at the end. I really liked how they did Sarah's theme song, like, the Nana Parbat theme song, the League of Assassins. I thought that was cool, the way they did that. And the final, where Barry vibrates at a certain frequency and Supergirl flies right through him, I thought that was really creative. They could have just did it generic, where she blows it up heat vision, but I really like the way they did that. So it kind of made sense the way the episode is going, that they were going to be really creative at the end. So, and also, obviously, at the end, we get to see Oliver, Thea, Diggle, Sarah, and Ray all get taken up into the Dominator spaceship, which kind of leads into the Arrow episode. So, yeah, that basically leads up to an Arrow episode. Arrow episode 100. So, guys, let's just jumping right into it. So, guys, this episode is phenomenal. Hit the feeling. We got the feels in it. Hit the feels, dude. Amazingly. This episode was so good, guys. And if you didn't watch it, I recommend you go watch this, even if you're not really a fan of Arrow anymore, if you just really watch The Flash. Because I know a lot of people just watch Flash or Legends. Not a lot of people, like, after the whole thing that happened last year, my light's, like, cutting out right now. That's not good. But after the whole Arrow Season 4 debacle, the mess, a lot of people stopped watching it. But guys, just watch this episode. It's basically a thank you. It's basically a fan letter, like, for Season 1 through 4. So, not even really much of 4, just one little scene. But yeah, guys, it was awesome. So we get Oliver doing his typical beginning of the season run through the woods. We find out he's at Oliver, the mansion, Queen Estate, whatever you want to call it. So basically. So, guys, picking up right where I left off, talking about the new Arrow episode. So, like I said, Oliver's getting married to Laurel. We're going to have the big Green Arrow, Black Canary marriage wedding. But they're not really Green Arrow or Black Canary. They're neither. They're just normal people. So, this is basically Arrow episode 100. Basically, it's all being told if Oliver never went on the Queen's Gambit, and if he never became the Green Arrow, really. So basically what this episode is, the Dominators have, like I said at the end of the Flash episode, they took Thea, they took Sarah, they took Diggle, they took Oliver, and they took Ray. So basically all of them are in some dream reality kind of sequence. And yeah, so basically they have like almost a perfect life in a way. I'll just go through every Diggle, and well, Diggle's kind of separate, but Ray is engaged to Felicity, Oliver's engaged to Laurel, Sarah's alive, she never died at all, happy. Lance is not an alcoholic, he's a happy guy who has a good, strong relationship with Oliver, which is different. And Oliver's parents are alive. Thea's in basically, she's the same. She wasn't season 1, basically. So nothing really changing there. Basically the same character that we've seen before. So that's kind of the same. Also, guys, we got a couple of other really cool stuff in the episode. Let's just go, like, this episode's so, like, important to go detail. So we basically see Oliver talking to his dad. Basically, his dad's, like, Mayor Queen, similar to Oliver's Mayor Queen Season 5. That's, like, the really only Season 5 connection I found in the episode. We also got to see there's a new Green Arrow, who we'll talk about a little later, saves Oliver and his dad, almost kind of similar to how Michael Keaton Batman saves the family, who's similar to if you watch 1989 Batman the movie, it looks like that's like the very beginning looks like that's like Bruce Wayne and his parents, but it's really not. So similar to the way that kind of looked at that go Bruce Wayne, it really wasn't. We saved by the Green Arrow, and Oliver gets a flashback, and he remembers his dad dying, and he remembers some Green Arrow memories, and he tracks the Green Arrow down, and basically realizes the Green Arrow is John Diggle. So some of the stuff is interesting. How they got that really expensive lab, I don't know, down there. I guess Ray Palmer's money, because Felicity's working with Diggle, and she's engaged to Ray Palmer, so I'm assuming, I don't know if Ray Palmer's in on it, but, like, similarly to how Oliver gets money from Felicity, and originally from Ray Palmer, it's kind of like that. So, yeah. So that was kind of really cool. The fight scene between Oliver and Diggle was kind of interesting. It wasn't really a fight scene. The way Diggle goes, Oliver just catches his arm, which was really cool. And yeah, so we basically see all of them start to remember. Laura wears a black canary necklace, just like, I don't know why, and Sarah touches it, and Sarah gets like, total vibe mode with Cisco, gets some flashbacks, and then everybody starts putting the pieces together, and yeah. So there's this really cool scene where Diggle goes and sees Oliver, he's like, dude, I'm getting these visions, what's going on? And he draws like, I'm seeing this one object, and he draws, it's actually a Dominator, so they're starting to realize that, but the Dominators are smart, and they don't want them escaping the dream reality, because they're gathering some sort of information about them, so they throw roadblocks. And the first roadblock is freaking Deathstroke. And it sucked we did not get Manu Bennett. He was the best villain on Arrow. Jeez, I cannot talk in this video. Best villain, not villain, on Arrow. Some of you guys might say, oh no, Malcolm Merlin's the best. Malcolm Merlin's a great villain. Don't get me wrong, great villain. Ra's al Ghul is a decent villain. He wasn't in it long enough, but he was a good villain. Damien Dark was an okay villain. Pretty decent good villain. One of the better parts of Season 5. And Prometheus seems to be a really good villain so far, but we haven't learned enough about his character. But so I would say Slade, Deathstroke, best villain on Arrow. Season 2 is fantastic. Favorite season of Arrow. Favorite season of any of the CW shows. So yeah. It was cool. We got, too bad it wasn't Manu Bennett. We didn't get to see Kid. So that would have been awesome, but too bad it really wasn't. We get to see the cool fight scene. Oliver and Diggle are getting their asses handed to them. And all of a sudden, Sarah comes out of nowhere. All League of Assassins shit, and just kills Deathstroke. And we realize, she's like, how did I do that? And that's when they start to all realize, yeah, this is definitely a connected dream. We need to get out of here. So, yeah, so eventually at the engagement party, stuff goes down. They meet Ray's like, no, yeah, bro, I remember this. I don't remember anything about my past and this world. We need to get out of here. And there's a really emotional scene between Oliver and his parents, and then a really emotional scene between Thea and Oliver, when Oliver's like, Thea, we have to get out of here. And Thea's like, but this is our perfect life. And she's not wrong. This is kind of like a perfect reality. Our parents are alive. Oliver's not the Green Arrow. He doesn't have to put the weight of the world on his shoulder. Laurel is alive. All their friends are alive. Tommy's alive. We got a cool reference I'll talk about in a minute. I don't think Malcolm Merlin's evil, so we don't get the whole, like, undertaking. Thea is fine. Like, nothing really happened to Thea, but yeah, they have normal lives. Sarah's not some assassin, and they got somebody else protecting their city. So, yeah, Thea's not wrong when she says this is the perfect life. But eventually Oliver says, alright, I can leave you here. And I thought it was really rushed when all of a sudden they go outside and Thea's like, well, I had a change of heart. I will not lose my family again, and really relating to that, Oliver is her family, and so is the rest of Team Arrow and everybody else. Let me just adjust the camera. There we go. So yeah, I thought that scene was a little rushed. It's like 10 seconds ago you said you never want to leave, and now you're leaving. But we also got a really cool joke when Thea's talking to, or maybe it wasn't Thea, but Malcolm's talking to somebody. He's like, "Where's Tommy?" He's like, "Yeah, he's doctor." Chicago's a far way away. If you guys don't really get that, the actor that plays Tommy, Colin Donnell, I think it is. He's actually season regular and a star on the show Chicago Med, so that's kind of a cool little like Easter egg if you want to say so. So yeah, I thought that part was pretty cool. And then we get the big smoke technology building, which actually plays like a beacon. It's their way out of this reality. And that kind of reminded me of the Legends of Tomorrow episode when they go to Star City 2046, and that's what you see there. The smoke technology building. That was from Legends Season 1. I think episode 6, I want to say. Yeah. So that's basically what that was. And it was really awesome when they go outside, and right before Thea comes out, Oliver gets hit with an arrow. And if you guys didn't know, I knew Malcolm was in this episode. I didn't know if he was just going to be playing Malcolm Merlin or Dark Archer, but the second half I'm like, either we're getting Prometheus or Dark Archer. And he pulls it out, and I'm like, nah, they're not going to do Prometheus. And it's freaking all. Then we see this lineup. It zooms in on Malcolm. And then it pans to the right. Zooms in on Deathstroke. Pans to the right. It zooms in on a couple of Mirakuru soldiers and Hive agents. And then you're like, oh yeah, okay. Zooms on right. We get Damien Dark. And if you guys were wondering why we didn't get Ra's al Ghul, it's because this was not just, oh, let's showcase all the Arrow villains. It was everybody's personal inside demon. Like, Thea fought Malcolm. Oliver fought Deathstroke. Sarah fought Damien. And then the other people are like, oh, well, Diggle and Ray got the short end of it. Not really. If you really think hard, if Thea's enemy is kind of Malcolm, he's the opposing of her. She always has to overcome the fact that he's her dad. And everything. Yeah, I thought I said that really wrong, but thinking about it, no, he's fine. So he's kind of like the rival of her, and it was kind of cool. She kills him, like basically fighting her inner demons. That's basically what it was. We got Sarah go against Damien Dark. Obviously, that's because he killed Laurel. And if you guys watch Legends or any of the shows, you know she just hates Damien Dark so much. It was wasn't the real deal, but it was satisfying seeing her kill Damien Dark. And then if you guys didn't know, Oliver feels responsible for Slade. He created Slade Wilson as Deathstroke, and Slade's kind of like his arch enemy. Some people might disagree and say Malcolm is maybe more in the comic books, but Slade was definitely Oliver's arch enemy on the show. And I think, hopefully, I'm not really sure. I really hope so, but I don't think so because of the whole movie, how Deathstroke's going to be in the upcoming Justice League movie, but I really hope they could bring Manu Bennett back for an episode. I think they didn't go off on greatest terms, CW, Manu Bennett, but you need to bring him back. Just bring him back. He was in most of Season 1 flashbacks, Season 2 all 2 flashbacks, Season 2 current day as a villain, and then we saw him Season 3 when he was on the island again. So, yeah, bring him back. Bring Manu Bennett back as Deathstroke, because it wasn't the same watching Oliver just beat up a guy in a suit. It would have been awesome if he would have ripped off, even if we don't see Deathstroke in the very beginning, that opening scene, if he really ripped off the mask, because it's kind of cool. Thea kind of tosses Oliver the bow, and he pulls it back, shoots him in the eye. So it would have been dope if he was like, come on, what are you going to do, kid? And Oliver's like, maybe this time I am. He just kills him. So that would have been awesome. And some people are like, yeah, Ray got the short end of it, and so did Diggle. They just fought a couple of B-level characters, but it's actually not true. If you know, if you watch Arrow Season 4, Hive is like the main villain. Damien Darks is the main villain, and Hive is kind of like his army. And his Diggle's brother Andy was in Hive, and he betrayed him. He got basically because Andy Diggle basically got Laurel killed, and Hive has always been a Diggle's enemy. We learned about them all the way back in Season 2 when Floyd Lawton actually told Diggle about them. They were the one that hired him to kill Andy, but it was really didn't kill Andy, but really confusing. So yeah, but I really thought that was cool. So Diggle took on Hive, which is kind of his arch enemy, and Ray did not get the short stick. If you guys remember, Ray had a fiance. I think her name is Anna. You guys can leave in the comments if I'm wrong. I think her name was Anna, and if you guys don't remember Ray talking about it, she was actually killed by a Mirakuru soldier during the siege, which is when Slade tried to take over the city in the Season 2, and that's why he builds the Atom suit. So really, his arch enemy is the one that killed his fiance, which was a Mirakuru soldier. So really, Thea got her arch enemy, Sarah got her arch enemy, Oliver got his arch enemy, and John and Ray got their arch enemy. So at the very end, it was cool when they're all leaving and they're about to go back out of this fake reality, and we get to see all figures that kind of passed on in Oliver's life. So I think it starts off with his mom. And they all say quotes about how good of a person he is, and he never gives up, so we get to see that. Then we get to see Felicity for some reason. I guess it's maybe the Olicity stuff. Or it was either that or because she wasn't actually, one of the people that got taken. So it was kind of like, okay, all these people are kind of off the show now, but okay, most of them are dead. And then after that, I want to say we got Tommy when he goes that thing. If you guys don't remember, if you don't remember the episode, I think it's called Three Ghosts, when Oliver hallucinizes Shadow, Slade, and Tommy goes, I thought you were a murderer or something like that, but you're really not. You're a hero. And basically, that's what he says there. Next to that, I'm pretty sure we get Tommy. We just think we get Roy. We get Roy telling him, Oliver, how you changed and you saved my life. And Roy is still alive, but he's not really on the show anymore. Hopefully we get to see more Roy. Hopefully he comes back eventually, because Roy was awesome. Colton Haynes would play his character great. I know he's on a couple of other shows, but yeah. And then we get Oliver's dad, who basically is like, yeah, you had to finish my work, and you've done it great, yeah. And then we finally get Laurel, and I didn't want to bring it up to now, but the most emotional scene is definitely when they defeated all their enemies outside, and Laurel comes out saying, you can't go, and everything, and that was really emotional, because Oliver has to learn to let Laurel go in this reality, because differently, he let Laurel go because she actually died, but he actually had to leave Laurel in her wedding gown, running outside, so that was kind of sad. And that was really emotional, especially for us longtime Arrow fans. I know people did cry. I didn't cry there, but it was kind of sad to watch that happen. And we get to see Laurel at the end telling him how Oliver never gives up, and then Oliver eventually walks through the portal and they get up. Now, this part wasn't the best part of the episode. Definitely maybe the worst. Not the worst. Everything was good in this episode. When Oliver and they're on the ship and they realize they're in space and they had to take on a couple of Dominators, and it was really convenient. Oliver had the laser gun, but yeah. So basically, what happens is they get to the ship. They get to some Dominator ship. They take it out, and basically they fly it. They're about to get killed by a bunch of swarms, similar to, if you guys watch Force Awakens, a million TIE fighters, a million Dominator ships come out, count them, and out of nowhere, the Dominator ship just comes. Can't talk today. The Wave Rider comes out of nowhere. Nate and I guess Maya's on the ship somewhere. Comes out of freaking nowhere, saves them, and basically rescues them. So yeah, that was awesome, guys. That was freaking awesome. And also we got another plot line where Cisco and Team Arrow are basically trying to destroy the Dominators and find a signal, a way to communicate with them. And there's basically this woman who's stealing all these parts, some doctor. They have to stop him. So we basically get to see Team Arrow, Supergirl, and Flash all team up together. I thought the one thing, I really like this Supergirl and Flash on the Arrow. Supergirl's tone, the theme song, didn't really match. But I thought it was really cool. It was all sad, and it's da-da-da-da. I'm like, okay. But it was really cool to see them team up, especially that one scene where they throw her, and Supergirl punches her, Flash comes and knocks her out. I thought that was awesome. Also, Renee was a little bit, changed to the episode. At first, he's like, Meta, superpowers are evil, man. They're evil. And you tell he's a brought up person. No, doesn't really rely on people. Gets the job done. He can get... Alright, guys, so I'm back. Yeah, I kind of had to cut out there for a second. So, like I was saying, Renee's character definitely evolved throughout this episode. And it's really cool at the end where he's like, never told the green guy this shit. He beat the shit out of me. It's like something. I'm like, oh man, that's awesome. Relating to how Oliver's so hardcore on the recruits. Renee's already been screamed and yelled at millions of times, especially the episode Matter of Trust when he goes after that Stardust dealer. But you know the deal. So, Legends was a good episode, but I think Arrow was probably the best episode, but I still think The Flash was the coolest. Legends, don't get me wrong, still a great episode though. But yeah, so Arrow was awesome. Episode 100, we got to see all the old characters come back. It was honestly really cool. I know some people really want to see Roy and Tommy in the flesh, but I don't think they could have got the actors. But it does kind of raise the eyebrow. Maybe Prometheus is Tommy because they couldn't get him this episode. Doesn't mean maybe they just want to save him. You bring Tommy back, it's like, oh, you're bringing Tommy back. You don't want him to be Prometheus, but we got a new Arrow trailer. Billy Malone could still be Prometheus, even though it could be a mind game thing. But we'll do a real reaction review for that. But yeah. So yeah, guys. So basically, Arrow, solid episode, boys. So we left off where they're in the spaceship, and we kind of pick the Legends episode off. So we're gonna talk about the final night, Legends. Let's just jump right into it. We pick off basically where the Legends. So Maya and Nate are dropping Team Arrow back off at the Hall of Justice. I forgot to talk about that. It's the Hall of Justice. So the place where they're basically teaming up is the Hall of Justice. They could say it's some Star Labs place. It's the Hall of Justice, guys. Literally, it looks exactly like it, except it's not in the middle of a big city. So, Super Friends on Flash. Cool. So, yeah, they bring him back. They bring him back to the Star Labs base. And, yeah, so this episode we got a couple of storylines. We got really more an introduction. So, meet Lily Stein. she's Martin Stein's daughter, created by the Aberration in 1987, and I don't think they're gonna get rid of her character. Will she join the Legends? Possibly, I doubt it, but like it could be a thing. Maybe she will get erased, I don't know, but I think the team will eventually find out, and I don't know if they'll have a real issue with her being around, so that'll be kind of interesting thing to go on in the future if we're going to see her character again. So we got the whole, like, Caitlin and Stein. I thought they did a good job together. That was basically the two characters they paired together. So usually we get to, mostly it's Firestorm and Stein. It was more of a Caitlin, Lily, Stein episode where they're trying to find out how to destroy the Dominators. So we also got that. We also got Felicity, Cisco, which is, like, pretty good team up. They had a little cool, like, little reaction in this episode. So Felicity, Cisco, Heatwave, Nate, and Maya, Vixen. They all go back to like 1950 or something when the Dominators first came down, and basically they try to take down the Dominators then, and they try to interrogate one, so they just go to get one. But while they do that, actually they wind up getting kidnapped. Well, Nate, Vixen. So Steel, Vixen, and Heatwave all get kidnapped, and it's up to Felicity and Cisco to save them. And that scene where they do get saved is honestly hilarious. But while they're there, we wind up realizing the old guy from the first episode, who's kind of like shady, is like some guy that met them. That was in 1951 that captured an alien, and the guy's bad. He's just like that crazy guy, crazy military general. You know, he's in every movie. So yeah. So basically they break out and they break the alien out, they let it go, but they realize that was a mistake, and that's when Cisco starts to realize he tried to do the right thing. He tried to help somebody. He tried to do the right thing, and he was just trying to do what he thought was best. And he was trying to realize where Barry's coming from, and they kind of repair that relationship. But I think it will be explored a little more, the whole like, hey, we're friends, because he does say at some point in the episode, we're friends, but you're not really my hero. And I think we're going to get back to that point by the end of the year. But as of now, no. So it's kind of interesting. We don't get to see the Cisco, angry Cisco. So that was good. Cisco's a lot better in this episode. I really like the whole, like, geeking out thing with Felicity and Cisco. Or that one scene where Mick's like, "Saved by the geeks." And Felicity's like, "Call Tech Squad." I thought that was kind of, like, catchy. Usually the one-liners by Felicity aren't great, but she equally matched Mick in this episode with the one-liners. So, yeah. And there's one scene I know a lot of people are talking about. It's kind of a meme. I saw it, and it's like Mick is like, "Oh, let's talk to an alien." That's first. It's like, it's actually not, because you've been talking to Supergirl the whole time. But, you know, yeah, just put it out there. And also at the end of the episode, there's a cool thing where Ray's like, she kind of looks like my cousin a little bit. If you guys don't get that, because I know probably a lot of you guys don't really understand that. 2006 movie, Superman Returns. Brandon Routh, who plays Ray Adam, actually played Superman, and Superman is Supergirl's cousin. It's just a little joke. I don't think we're ever going to actually see Ray Palmer, Earth 1 cousin, Kara. I don't think Kara actually has an Earth 1 doppelganger. But, yeah. So, I don't think they're doing the Power Girl. I don't think they're doing that, but possibly, maybe down the line. There's so many stuff they could actually do, so it'd be kind of cool if we do get that. But yeah, so basically in this episode we see them go back to 1951. They're not really there for long. They break out and they go back to current day, and they basically get a message saying the president wants to meet them. They realize it's actually the guy that was in 1951, that older guy that's like kind of a head of Argus, kind of a Lilam's boss, maybe some high position, power position. And he goes there, he's like, "Sorry," and he's there. He's basically to basically give them, like, I can't think of the word, but a proposition, something like that. And it's like, after Flashpoint, which I know happened, and he also knows, he's like, Mr. Allen, he's like, WTF, he knows who Barry is, probably knows who all of them are, but he's like, Mr. Allen created Flashpoint, and now they don't trust Barry, and that's why they're here. Barry, you go sacrifice yourself, they leave, and we don't have anything to do with them. So Barry's basically ready to make that decision, but it's really cool. They all get together, and they're like, no, we're not letting Barry go, and it's like kind of cool, and Barry's like, all right, then I guess we fight. And it was really cool, the scene where, like, the guy actually shows up, Barry runs around, puts everybody's gun down, kind of similar to the Quicksilver scene in X-Men Days of Future Past, which was awesome. I wouldn't put it up on that level, but it was similar to like that. We haven't really got Barry, like, running and actually slowing down in a long time, so that was pretty cool. So basically, the final fight scene was epic, guys. It was kind of reminded me of Civil War a little bit, on top of, like, the parking lot, and kind of top of the building that looked like a parking lot. So it kind of reminded me a little bit of that. But it was still awesome, guys. It was just awesome to see everybody. Barry's running around the ground. We got Oliver and Diggle on the ground. Too bad Thea, but they kind of brought Thea back. Too bad. But we got Oliver, Diggle, we got Steel, we got Vixen, Heatwave. In the sky, we got Supergirl, we got yeah, you got Supergirl, you got Atom, you got Firestorm, and Firestorm had the awesome, too bad we didn't get, Sarah wasn't really in the final fight, but her and Cisco were actually in the sky, in the Wave Rider, stopping the bomb, because they said if Barry doesn't turn this off and they're going to drop a metahuman bomb, it's going to kill a couple, like, million people, normal people, and it's going to kill every metahuman. So it's basically killing all the metahumans, because they're against metahumans, because they feel like it could threaten them. So basically that's what's going to happen with them. So, yeah, so Cisco and Sarah stop it, they catch it, and then Firestorm does that whole, like, transmutation thing where they change it, and it was awesome. I like that thing, he kind of goes, no! Kind of similar if you guys watch Man of Steel, where, when Superman kills Zod at the end of Man of Steel, spoiler alert, spoiler, yeah, I'm sorry guys, but you've seen that movie if you're watching this. Yeah, so you basically, when he kills Zod at the end, he's like, no! And it was similar to that. It was pretty epic on a grand scale. And the fight was pretty cool. Early in the episode, Oliver basically told Sarah to basically back off, keep this at keep the fight grounded, but eventually it comes back to bite him, where Kara saves him. And yeah, so it's a cool fight scene, not the best fight scene we'd ever seen in the CW, but it was still cool. I wouldn't put it on the level of the first night of the Flash crossover, where they all fought each other. I would not put it on that level, but it was still pretty solid. So yeah. Also guys, we are, at the end, we get to see Barry and Supergirl running throughout the world. It was kind of cool, where she's like, this is a job for Supergirl, and Barry's like, I'm not gonna take any offense for that, but I'm kind of here too, and she's like, and the Flash. It was kind of cool, and at the very end, when they wind up defeating the Dominators, because Stein comes up with something, it really irritates them, and they can't really do anything, so they all teleport away. So it basically said maybe they're going to come back, but who knows. So yeah, that's kind of interesting, the way they're going to leave that off, I guess. Also, guys, we do have, like, the big ending, where it's like they're all celebrating, they all get honored. And one thing I wasn't sure, I kind of brought up early in the video, Diggle is a wanted fugitive. Maybe he has the mask on, or maybe he wasn't there at the end, I'm not really sure, but wouldn't Diggle be arrested, or can they give Diggle a pardon or something? I would be like, hey, that's John Diggle, give him a pardon, like, right now. And I'd be like, dope. I don't know why they're not doing that, but I guess maybe we're going to have a storyline later in Arrow for that. But yeah, so at the end we do get to see Cisco give Kara some, like, portal opening thing where she could go walk, basically come to Earth 1 wherever she wants. So that's how they're going to interact with her a lot more now. But so yeah, so Cisco gives that, she leaves, and then we get a cool little scene where Sarah's like, you know, this all started with us, right? Getting on that gamut and everything. So that was kind of a cool. And it was really cool seeing the guy, like, the guy that was the older guy, winds up getting reassigned to, like, Antarctica, so he's gone, he's out of the picture, he screwed himself. So yeah, you know, that was kind of satisfying. And at the end we get to see a cool scene with Diggle, where he's like, Barry, you know, everybody messes up, dude. Keep on telling this guy. Can't take the blame for everything. You gotta forgive yourself. And he's like, you're one of the best men I know. And he's like, thanks, Dig. So that was kind of a cool scene. And at the end, with Oliver and Barry in the bar, that's awesome. And the guys, the crossover is a 10 out of 10. It was fantastic, guys. All the crossovers are great, and I'm so excited next year. Hopefully next year, maybe we can get even a longer crossover. Wouldn't it be awesome if we didn't have to worry about, like, a Flash Arrow, and we just got 5 nights of just straight-up crossover? Like, who cares? It doesn't have to focus on all the characters. Like, in this year, like, each episode had this, like, Flash focus a little bit on the Wally storyline. Oliver, Arrow focused a little bit on the Team Arrow. Didn't have, like, any Team Flash, and focused on Oliver's storyline. Legends, kind of time traveling, and Supergirl obviously is a mostly Supergirl episode, which I'm going to be making a review right after I'm done with this. So, if you guys like, you didn't review Supergirl, I'm like, I'm going to review it, guys. This is more important. So, yeah. So, I'm excited. I think we're getting, like, a musical crossover or something with the Flash and Supergirl. I'm going to do a video on that, but yeah. So, guys, crossover A+. If you haven't watched it, what do you do? What are you doing if you watch these shows and you haven't watched crossover? So, one thing I recommend you could do, I didn't do this, but tape all your shows if you have the ability to tape them, or if you have them on demand. Watch them back to back, like as a movie. I think that would be really cool. I kind of regret not doing that, but you know, I just want to watch them, get it, like, no spoilers or anything. But yeah, guys, I'll see you guys in my next video. This was a really long video, guys, and I hope you guys stick along, just didn't skip to the end. But yeah, guys, so I really enjoyed this crossover, and I think most people did, and I'm pumped for the next time we get to see all these characters interact and don't have to get, like, the origin story. So yeah, hopefully we'll get, like, another good crossover. So guys, I'll see you in my next video. Peace.